Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm Easton Amelia, not your host with NFL Week 4 predictions. Who am I here with?
Cameron Staley.
Aren't you the host?
Possibly, so I can take it over if
Okay,
you need me
that
to.
works too.
Let's go ahead. Let's get to the AFC scoreboard. Easton, let's talk about this Commanders and Bengals game first. Very interesting game. I honestly had a lot of fun watching this game Monday night. Commanders ended up sneaking this one by 5 points. Big end zone. Back in the end zone, tutty to Terry McLaurin.
Yes,
Pretty good for my fantasy team, I must say. I had the Bengals by 9, though, so I got this one wrong.
I did have the Bengals by 2, but I always said that this was going to be a high-scoring game. I thought both offenses were going to compete, and they definitely showed out Monday night. And I'm just excited to see how Jaden Daniels can do after this. I feel like he's the guy, and he's probably the front runner for Rookie of the Year right now.
Colts and Bears. This one ends 21-16. Caleb Daniels throws 300 yards in a loss.
Yeah, we finally saw what he can do at the NFL level, but his team did come up short. But I feel like this Colts team's sneaky. I feel like they can be good with Anthony Richardson at the quarterback position, but I don't think they're going to be winning by a lot. They're going to have a lot of close games, low scoring.
There's a lot of turnovers in this game. It was basically Richardson throwing it to the Bears and then Williams throwing it to the Colts. I think there was 3 or 4 picks in total across both. I know for a fact Richardson had 2. I'm not fully certain how many Williams had. The Packers and Titans. Malik Willis revenge game. He goes to Nashville and gets it done. 30-14. This is probably the best game of his career and the biggest game of his career too.
He played it off like it wasn't a big deal, but you can definitely tell when he was on the field, he was playing with his emotions, and it worked for him. I think this Packers team is going to be good with Malik Willis or Jordan Love at the quarterback position.
Jets and Patriots. Jacoby Brissett looked awful in this game. Then they bring in Drake May, and, man, he was throwing those screens real great, huh? He had one ball that went 10 yards, right? And he threw
Maybe
4 or 5. So, overall, this is an awful game for the Patriots. They kind of got, I don't even know if I want to say fraud checked. They just kind of beat the struggling Bengals in the first week, and everybody was like, okay. And then they go lose to the Seahawks, which is a solid team this year. And then they lose to the Jets, which is another solid team. But overall, Patriots just aren't looking that great.
Yeah, I fell into the trap after they beat the Bengals. I think everyone thought the Bengals were going to start off 3-0, be one of the top teams in the NFL, but they're just not playing like that, so that's probably why we had the false hope of the Patriots being back. But the Jets looked really good. Aaron Rodgers is back. Him and Garrett Wilson, I feel like this team's going to be dangerous.
So, Bills and Jags. This was a blowout. I hate to keep mentioning fantasy, but I won my fantasy week because they took out Josh Allen. I was facing Josh Allen, and it's a boosted league, so we've got a bunch of bonus points and stuff, and almost everything is doubled. So Josh Allen was sitting at 55 points. He was absolutely killing me. I had to outscore Harrison by 60 this week, and I had Travis Etienne and Terry McLaurin, and then Logan Wilson against Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir, his number 1 wide receiver, Zach Ertz, and Aluakun. Or Aluakon, however you say it. He goes out with an injury. So he got stopped at 3.5 points. It was 3 tackles, one of them being a TFL. That's an extra half point in our league. So Ertz starts popping off at the end of the game, so I almost lost. But then Terry scored the touchdown. I really took it. Travis got some garbage time carries as well to add some more points for me. But Josh Allen got benched in the third quarter. If he put up another 50 yards and a touchdown, I think I would have lost this week.
So all you really needed was one drive because that Bills offense was not going to stop.
Yeah, so Bills win 47-10 against the Jags. Trevor Lawrence gets benched in the fourth quarter, and then Mac Jones comes in and fumbles the ball, and they lose it. So overall, just bad QB play in Jacksonville currently. We'll see if they bounce back. Not certain, though. They're 0-3. Our AFC game of the week last week was the Steelers and Chargers. Not fully certain if it lived up to it, though. It wasn't that fun of a game. It had the 12 o'clock window on CBS getting nationally televised, but, overall just kind of a sleepy time game. And so was the Eagles and Saints game, which we'll get to, but overall just the 12 o'clock window wasn't that great this week. Steelers end up winning at home 20-10. I want to say it was they were down. I want to say it was 10-3 and came back and ended up winning 20-10.
But when Herbert goes down, that doesn't help the Chargers.
Yeah, so Herbert's health is at question this week. We have no clue if he's going to play against the Chiefs. They haven't really decided. If it's not Herbert, it's Taylor Heineke. So
Taylor Heineke, let's do it.
St. Louis Battlehawk legend, Taylor Heineke. Did you know that?
I did not.
In the 2020 version of the XFL, he was the backup to Jordan Te'amu.
And then he goes to the NFL?
And then he has a starting job for a year and then falls back off. So let's go ahead. Let's get to the NFC scoreboard, Easton. We're really shitting on people today. I feel kind of bad. We're just, oh, man, we got to stop that. Let's go ahead and talk about Cardinals and Lions. I guess let's just keep talking bad about people. Cardinals looked awful in this game, 20-13. No points scored, really.
No, the Cardinals, I really liked them, but I really like the Lions as well. If the Lions can get the ball to their receivers and make big plays, they will for sure win big games. But this game, I feel like the Cardinals lost instead the Lions won.
We'll stay on the train. The Texans lose 34-7. Stroud looks awful in this game. He looks so bad. But we know what Stroud is, so we can't worry about that too bad. I think this is just more the Vikings showing, hey, we're actually legit this year. Don't sleep on us.
I told Sam Darnold, believe in him. Yeah, the Vikings, I just fell in love with them now. I usually fall in love with a team that's like not my favorite team just because of the story of a player, anything. Sam Darnold's been overlooked his entire career, and it's really cool to see him kind of fight back, say, I'm actually good, and lead this Vikings team to a commanding win over a pretty good Texans team.
And going into this year, it really looked like he wasn't going to get that starting job. It looked like they really wanted McCarthy out there. McCarthy tears his meniscus, brings in Darnold, and now Darnold's having the best year of his career. Now, we are 3 games in, but he's already almost done what he's been able to produce in his whole career in 3 games, if we're going to be honest. So he's having a really good year. Obviously, like I said, there's not a lot to show for in his past 3 teams. He was backup for the 49ers. He was drafted to the Jets. He was really bad with the Jets. He ended up getting traded to the Panthers for like a 3rd or 4th round pick, and then plays for the Panthers for a little bit and gets benched, and then obviously, like I said, goes to the 49ers, is the backup, signs with the Vikings. He was on trajectory to start, and then McCarthy is playing good in camp. Then it flips, and he's on trajectory to be backup, and then McCarthy tears his meniscus, so then it's back on track for him to start, and he's looking good. So go Darnold. Let's keep on talking about teams that are bad. Ravens, they are now 1-2. That's not the team I'm saying are bad. They win 28-25 over the Cowboys. 2 straight home losses for the Cowboys. They're now 1-2, and they are not looking good.
I feel like this Cowboys team will definitely pick it up, though. I feel like early on struggles we've seen with multiple teams, but it's most important Thanksgiving, that's where you really turn it around. Cowboys will play there. I feel like that's the moment where you'll see how they are after that break. That's how I kind of break the season up in half.
So it was 28-6 at one point, and Baltimore tries to blow it. It ends up being 28-25 as a final. I actually went to go eat dinner when it was 28-6. I come back and it's 28-25 with like 2.5 minutes left, and I was a little nervous for that, but luckily they ended up not getting the win. Rams, they are dealing with a lot of injuries. They played the 49ers, who are dealing with a lot of injuries. It was 24-14 for the 49ers at one point. They ended up not getting it done. The Rams, surprisingly, went at home with basically a road crowd. I don't know if you saw it, but it was almost all red in Los Angeles for this game. It was kind of crazy. It was basically an extra home game for the 49ers. Sadly, didn't get it done. 27-24. And Rams ended up sneaking this one by. The NFC game of the week in all honesty, was probably the Chiefs and Falcons. We didn't pick that, though, because I really didn't think it was going to be this close. The Chiefs win Sunday night 22-17. There were a few questionable calls in this one. It is what it is. I don't like to blame the refs the whole time.
Yeah, this was a good game. Both teams, you can tell, were there. Falcons, I feel like, just found a way to keep it close. Obviously, Justin Simmons gets an interception. Patrick Mahomes' father, like I said, preseason. But no, the Falcons team, I think they could be good. They just got to find a way to get that offense going.
So our real NFC game of the week that I chose for us that ended up really not being the game of the week, it's the Eagles and Saints. They just kind of both looked ugly, honestly. It was 15-12. The Eagles win on the road. So let's go ahead. Let's get to this week's predictions. AFC scoreboard on your screen right now. Let's start with probably the worst game on the screen right now. Raiders and Browns, Easton. I will take Cleveland on the road by 6.
You know what? I was talking to you before the game that I might take the Browns, but the Raiders, I feel like, are a team that can be sneaky and they can find a way to win this. The Browns have not been playing well. They just lost to the Giants. I know. I was trying to go 0-4, but they found a way to win one. Andy Dalton kind of went off, but no, I feel like Raiders by 4.
Okay, so Texans and Jags. I'm going to take the Texans by 17. I don't think this game's going to be close.
I might take the Texans by 10. I feel like they're going to be really fired up after that loss, and they're going to come out looking to score out of the gate. They're going to find a way, I feel like, to get a big lead in that first half and just kind of coast from then on.
Chargers hosting the Chiefs. I feel like this game's going to be ugly. I think the Chiefs are going to blow out the Chargers by 20.
There's two sides of this. The Chargers always find a way to keep it close to the Chiefs, but if they don't have their starting quarterback, there's not a chance in the world this game is close. I'm going to split in the middle of what my decision was going to be. I'm going to go by 7. I was going to say a 3-point game if Herbert's starting, but like a 14, 17-point game. So I'm going to go 7 points in favor of the Chiefs.
Okay, Jets and Broncos. Broncos looked good last week. They beat the Buccaneers on the road, which is really surprising to me. I didn't think that game was going to be close. Tyler Beatty pops off. He had like 70 yards, and he's supposed to be running back 3. So we'll see what goes on in the running back room from now on. I will take the Jets, though. I think they're just a better team than Denver is. I'll say New York by 9.
I'll take the Jets as well. The Broncos did look good. Their statistics look good as well. I feel like they performed so well there. I feel like if they could move places, I feel like they should move to Florida. But no, I feel like the Jets are going to find a way to win this one by 3.
Colts and Steelers. I'm just not on the Colts train this year. I'm not the biggest fan of Anthony Richardson. I say that every week. I will take Justin Fields and the Steelers by 12.
I'm going to take the Colts. Anthony Richardson's going to find a way to win this one by 1 point. That's my big week. This is my weekly upset. I'm going to start doing that. This is going to be my upset.
Okay. Ravens and Bills. Ravens hosting the Bills. Ravens are 1-2. They're better than a 1-2 team, though. If we're going to be honest, they slipped up against the Raiders. It really didn't look good. But the Bills are looking like a buzzsaw right now. They look so good. I have them going up to 4-0. I will take Buffalo by 10.
I agree with that. Buffalo is looking really good right now. Ravens had a big win last week and able to add one into the win column, but I still think this Bills team is going to be tough to beat through this entire year. I feel like the Bills are going to find a way to win this one. I'm going to say by 6. I feel like this is going to be a good game. I'm really excited to see this one.
NFC scoreboard on your screen right now. Easton, let's start with the Bears and the Rams. This one, 2 teams that are 1-2. It's in Chicago, but I just feel like the Rams are the better team. I'll take Los Angeles by 10 on the road.
I'll take Caleb Williams here. I feel like this Bear team's going to find a way to win a bigger game this week. I feel like at home especially, the Rams were hurt already. They played the 49ers. I feel like if they can't get anyone back, there's a chance the Bears win this one. I feel like it's going to be a close. Give me it by 2. Bears win this one.
Packers and Vikings. This one is my shocker. Whether Jordan Love or Malik Willis, I have the Vikings continuing the roll 4-0, and I have them winning big by 18.
Well, give me Sam Darnold. He's going to win this game for the Vikings. They're going to have a high-scoring game, I feel like. But I don't think the Packers are able to keep up. Give me a 20-point win for the Vikings here.
Okay, one up in me here. Falcons and Saints, divisional matchup, always 50-50. No clue how this one goes. I am going to take Atlanta, though. I think they bounce back. Considering they're at home, I'll take the home field advantage here. I'll say Falcons by 4.
I'm going to take the Saints. I feel like they were able to have a close game, defensive battle versus the Eagles, and you've seen their offense. It's been high-powering. I feel like if they're able to keep that in the middle, have a great defense and great offense, they're able to win this one. Give me it by 7.
Okay, Cards and Commanders. Going to take an upset here. This is my upset of the week.
Upset of the week?
I will take the Washington Commanders by 7 points. I really like what Jaden Daniels is doing. There is a stat. Oh, shoot. There's a stat. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning combined, they only had 2 games ever in their career where they did not punt and scored on every single drive. Jaden Daniels in 3 games has done that twice. So those 4 legends, possibly, if you're acting like Joe Montana doesn't exist, the top 4 quarterbacks ever had 2 games where they scored on literally every single drive. Jaden Daniels has already done it twice in 3 games. 66% of his career has been scoring on every single drive.
That is a crazy statistic to think about, but I do have the Cardinals winning this one by 3.
Lions and Seahawks, I don't know. Both of them have looked good and looked bad this year. They've shown both sides of the ball. I'm going to take Detroit by 5. I'm going to keep riding the Lions train.
I'm going to take Detroit by 3. I would like them to use Sam Laporta this week in any way possible. That would help my fantasy team just a tad bit.
Well, he's got an ankle sprain.
Well, he better get in the lineup.
Play through, Sam. Buccaneers and Eagles, this will be our NFC game of the week. What are you thinking here? I'll let you answer first.
The Bucks, I really like them. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, find a way to win this one. Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield find a way to score more points than the other team. Don't know how many it's going to be by, but I'm going to assume by 3. But I feel like this is going to be a close game coming down to the wire. I feel like it's going to be tied in the fourth quarter, and we're going to have a great fourth quarter finish.
All right, well, I wrote down Eagles by 1, actually. So, with the Buccaneers losing to Denver, it's a little scary. And, the Eagles are doing solid this year. They're not taking the points. That's been the big thing. Sirianni's getting into, the good part of the field, if you want to say that, and going for it on 4th down when he can take 3 points. And they lost the game against the Falcons exactly because of that. They almost lost to the Saints because of that. I don't think that was really the case against the Packers, but I guess we'll see if that repeats for a 3rd week in a row. I know a lot of Eagles fans are really mad at Sirianni right now, so I do have the Eagles winning by 1 in this game. So let's go ahead and get to our fantasy football portion of this. We'll make it a little quick. Let's start with trade options, Easton. Let's start with players to get rid of. I'll do a trade high and a trade low. For my trade high this week, I think I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. That may be an interesting answer, but right now with the QB room, it's not looking good. Maybe go get value for Tyreek Hill with the season in question for him because, he's not going to be seeing very good quarterback play here for a few weeks. So, with those few weeks, there's chance of injury. So, what if you're riding on Tyreek Hill to bounce back if Tua comes back later in the year, but by then he tears his ACL? So, obviously I'm not wishing that on him, and maybe that's a weird example to put out there, but I feel like while you have that value, maybe go get rid of Tyreek Hill. And my trade low right now, just get rid of Mark Andrews. I think it's over. I think the career is coming to an end for Mark Andrews. So maybe go ahead and get a younger tight end on your team.
I would trade away Keenan Allen right now. He's had injury problems his entire career, and I feel like that's just the start for this year. I feel like he's going to miss at least 3 to 4 games, even if he's able to get back next week.
So I actually traded Keenan Allen from my team last week. I traded Keenan Allen and Jaleel McLaughlin for Jalen Warren and Jalen Polk. And Polk did not play good. Warren did not play good, and Warren's hurt. And then Keenan Allen was out last week, and McLaughlin scored a touchdown. So at the moment, kind of looks like Judah won the trade, but really in the long run, I feel like he probably didn't. But I guess we'll see now that Caleb Williams is actually kind of slinging the ball. So let's go trades by now. Who are you bringing in, Easton?
I'm going to bring in T. Higgins. I feel like this Bengals offense is going to find a way to really accelerate. And T. Higgins hasn't been on the field all year. He's been hurt. And I feel like he's about to come back. He's going to have a slow start. So I feel like this is where you buy low now. Also, Ramadunza, I feel like if he is able to be on the field when Keenan Allen's hurt, you saw what he did this week. I feel like those are two really good options if you're lacking at receiver.
Buy high for me, it's got to be Brian Robinson Jr. right now. He's playing so good for the Commanders, and he's scoring a touchdown almost every single game. So maybe if the manager will actually let go of him, try to go get him. That's a big upgrade. Buy low right now, Rashid Shaheed had a pretty bad week. I don't even think he had a catch. So you may catch a manager while he's a little vulnerable right now because right as they put Shaheed into a starting lineup, then he drops a donut. So, they may be a little salty right now. So go see if you can pick up Rashid. For the waivers, Easton, let's go with your fool's gold. Who should you avoid this week?
I think you should avoid Quentin Johnson. He's too dependent on touchdown catches. He only had 2 catches last week, did have a touchdown. But if he's not getting those touchdowns, this Charger offense is relying on field goals, he's not going to really help your team much.
For my fool's gold, I'm going to go Tyler Beatty. I'm not fully certain on him right now. He was running back 3 going into last week with Denver, and then all of a sudden, Jaleel McLaughlin has like 7 rushing yards, and Javonte had around that as well, and then Tyler Beatty had 70 rushing yards. So not certain if that's going to keep up. Maybe hold off for another week or two. Another one that I like to say is fool's gold is Trey Tucker. He had a really, really great week. I want to say 96 receiving yards and a touchdown. I don't think that's going to keep up. He had a bad first 2 weeks, so maybe stay away from him. For our pickup, Easton, I'm going to go with Jawan Jennings. I think by now, most teams already, or most leagues already have him picked up. Going into last week, he was rostered on 4% of teams. This week, Easton, after this morning, he's on 67% of teams.
My ad for this week is Jonathan Mingo for the Panthers. Even though he's not the number 1 target, Deontay Johnson's there. If this Panthers offense turns and clicks around with Andy Dalton, you know they're going to continue to pass the ball, and I feel like he'll just be a guy who's going to be on your bench, maybe at best flex position to start.
So for drop and hold, Easton, my drop, I'm going to go with Curtis Samuel. I just feel like he's not getting the targets from Josh Allen. It's going to Shakir, it's going to Kincaid, it's going to Coleman right now, and Samuel's not really getting any looks. So maybe get rid of Curtis Samuel. If you can trade him for a bag of McDonald's fries, maybe try to go with that. But you're not really going to get much for Curtis Samuel right now.
I'm going to bring something new. I did a little research. I would say drop the Jaguars defense. They've been struggling all year. They were one of the highly rated defenses, one in the middle of the pack, a little over middle of the pack, and the Jags are not playing to what I think they were supposed to, and I feel like that would just be a drop right now.
Hold option for me, I'm going to go with Jaleel McLaughlin. He had a touchdown last week, but, like I said, it's kind of in question with Tyler Beatty now. Is he going to end up being running back 1 or 2? I guess we'll see. Maybe hold off with McLaughlin for another week or 2. I feel like I say him a lot, though, but I'm a fan of him, so that's kind of why I'm saying to hold on to him. If I were to give another one, maybe Caleb Williams. He had 300 yards. Now he's slinging interceptions, so that's hurting the fantasy points. But I feel like he's a pretty solid player.
I would say Rashid Shaheed is my hold option. He did have a bad week this week, but I feel like this Saints offense, against the right defense, they're going to be able to pass a lot of yards, and I feel like Derek Carr just had a down game. I feel like he's going to get it up.
So before we go, Easton, last week, your drop option, Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
He has a pretty big week. Are you feeling good?
I mean, it's the Broncos offense. I mean, I've watched them for 3 years now. They're going to have good weeks. They're going to have bad weeks. But I feel like having him on your roster is going to be annoying because he'll have a good week on your bench. Like, okay, I'll put him in this week. And then he lays a goose egg, and you're like, no, I could have just – I did that a year ago.
So I called it on Jonnu Smith last week. I said not to pick him up. Big shout out to my guy Jace. Not sure if he's actually going to watch this, but he picks up Jonnu Smith for Noah Fant. Drops Noah Fant to free agency. Jonnu Smith plays awful. Noah Fant plays great. And then this morning he brings back in Noah Fant and drops Jonnu Smith. So it's like, dude, what are you doing, you know? So, maybe he should have listened to my fantasy advice, but I'll stay out of his team. He's 1-2, but so am I, so I can't say much.
I'm just disappointed. I didn't say the Giants were going to lose. I really think that's the reason they won, is because I didn't have a reminder they were going to lose. So maybe I have to remind that the Giants are going to lose every week, so they go 1-16. So then, I'm just I don't feel bad. I'm like, I was close at least.
Well, they play Thursday Night Football tomorrow against the Cowboys, so I do feel like the Cowboys will bounce back. So we'll probably be seeing the Giants at 1-3.
So you say 1-3?
Yeah, 1-3 Giants. Right
On
now.
the way to 1-16.
Road to 1-16, New York Giants. Panthers, they're looking like they may be able to get to 3-14 this year.
Hey, that's what I had them at. So that'd be good.
Hey, I guess we'll see. But that's all we've got for today. This may be a bit of a longer video, maybe 30 minutes, but that's okay. It's been Missouri Sports Talk. We'll see you next time.